Hi friends, and welcome back to Foundational Truths. My name is Nayanda. Thanks for clicking on today's video. So friends, as we have entered into the season of rebuilding, we need a few things to properly rebuild. Last time we spoke about feeling like quitting and it being totally normal when you've been through spiritual warfare and you've come such a long way. You have come such a long way. Some of you have no idea. I think many of you have no idea how far you've come. You have done a lot in the spiritual realm. You've done a lot. Don't think for a second that your obedience and your surrendered life means nothing. It absolutely does. You have just, by your obedience, you've just propelled yourself forward and further into God's plans and purposes for your life. So don't think for a second that God does not see that. He completely sees it. He acknowledges that, and he has good plans for you. Everything he said he's going to do, he is doing it. This is your season of breakthrough. This is your season of breakthrough. This is your season where your eyes are going to see, your eyes are going to behold the things of God. Your eyes are going to behold and your ears are going to hear. You are going to see evidence of his goodness in your life. There's going to be so much evidence of God's goodness in your life. And you know what's going to happen? The people who have spoken against you, they're going to have a front row seat to the things that God is going to do in your life. His glory is shining upon you so brilliantly, like it describes in Isaiah 60. His glory is going to shine upon you so brilliantly. And when it does, people are going to know that God is with you. I believe that we're in a season, we've just entered into this season of rebuilding. And it's also a season that you're going to see signs, miracles, and wonders. You're going to see extraordinary things happening. And you're going to scratch your head and wonder. And you're going to know that it's God. And other people are going to know that it is God that has done this thing. So no matter how you feel right now, you're a human being. Part of this journey means that sometimes you're going to get weary and sometimes you're going to get tired. But you gotta put yourself together. You got to put yourself together. You got to get that rest that you need, and you have to come back. And you're going to come back. You're going to come back, and you're going to come back stronger. And when you get that rest, and you're not going to stay in the period of rest for too long. If you're exercising, it's not good to be in rest period for too long. You want your heart rate elevated. So you may do a minute on and 10 seconds off, or 40 seconds on and 10 seconds off. You need that 10 seconds of rest, but not too much now, because you got work to do. The journey is not finished. You have work to do. And so as you rest, the Lord is going to supernaturally recharge you. He's going to do that. In the story of Elijah that was referenced in the last video, Elijah went under this juniper tree, this tree that provided so much shade, this place of rest, this well-needed rest that he needed in order to be rejuvenated. And the Lord sent an angel to him, and the angel brought him bread and water. Bread and water. The bread and water that the angel brought, and he did this twice, it supernaturally sustained Elijah for 40 days and 40 nights so he can travel to Mount Sinai. And I believe this is what God is going to do for many of you. He is going to recharge you in such a supernatural way that you're going to be fueled up and recharged and re-energized in order to have the substance you need to rebuild whatever it is that you're rebuilding. Some of you are rebuilding your finances. Some of you are rebuilding in the area of friendships and relationships and different communities. Some of you have moved or are getting ready to move, and so you're rebuilding different areas of your life. For some of you, it's multiple areas of your life that you're rebuilding. The Lord is going to supernaturally recharge you in such a way that it's going to give you all the fuel you need to carry out the rebuilding. Because your question may be, how can I rebuild when I'm so tired? How can I rebuild when I still haven't seen the promise? And the Lord is saying, I am fueling you. I am recharging you supernaturally so you can rebuild. And so the Lord's going to do that in a number of ways. He could even have you prophesy over yourself and just speak out of your spirit. Whatever is in there, you just speak over your life. The Lord is going to supernaturally recharge you like he did with Elijah. And so you are being reset in this rebuilding stage. The Lord is resetting you at these beginning stages of rebuilding so that you can be properly postured in order to rebuild. And another thing that you need to rebuild is you need direction. You need direction. And I actually want to read a bit of that, what happened with Elijah and him receiving direction from the Lord. Elijah came to a cave where he spent the night, and then the Lord visited Elijah. So it's important in this season for you to really get quiet. It's a very loud season, particularly because of the upcoming election in the United States. So it's a very loud season. And in this season, you need to, I mean, every season, but really at this point, you really need to get quiet with the Lord. You really need to get quiet. Elijah was in a cave. He was in a cave. He spent the night there. And then the Lord came to him. The Lord came to him, and the Lord gave Elijah directions. He gave him directions. But before he gave those directions, this is what the Lord asked Elijah. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, Elijah? And he called him by name. And the Lord does that sometimes to get our attention. He calls us by name. And then Elijah said to the Lord, you know, he told him about his woes, all that he's been going through. And the Lord sees that. And the Lord acknowledged that. And then the Lord said something. He didn't say, oh, Elijah, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you, my son. It's gonna be okay. You, my poor Elijah, I can't believe this happened to you. No, this is what the Lord did. He gave Elijah instructions. He said, go back the same way you came, travel to the wilderness of Damascus, and anoint 3 different people. So after Elijah had his time of resting and being depressed, and the Lord feeding him, and he came into this cave, the Lord came to Elijah and he gave him directions. The Lord understands how you're feeling, and he's given you a few days to rest up. And now he's saying, I still have work for you to do. I still have work for you to do. In fact, this work that I have, it doesn't just involve you, it involves people that I'm going to have you anoint in order to almost reestablish Israel. Because at this point, Israel was under the leadership of a wicked ruler with his wicked wife. There's this pure evil going on in Israel because of these rulers. And so God wanted to raise up a new regime. And so he told Elijah, go anoint these people. He gave him directions. And like Elijah, you may have had that period that you needed to rest, but God is saying now, you have to get up. He's saying you got to get up because I have work for you to do. This that I have for you to do is not just going to impact your life, it's going to impact many, many people's lives. And you need to get up and you need to get back in the game, so to speak. You need to get up, and these are the directions I'm giving you. So friend, as you quiet yourself down, remember it's a very loud season, but you need to find time and you need to quiet yourself down. Not only is there a lot of political talk, but also because you're in a season of rebuilding, you've entered into something new. So again, this is foreign to you. And so you may get a little bit distracted by everything that you see around you. You're new to it, right? So you may be, I don't want to say you may get overstimulated, but you may very well be a little bit overwhelmed by the new that you just stepped into. But just pace yourself. Just pace yourself. That's why he gave you that time so you could rest and reset in order for you to properly build. So friends, at this time, get quiet, get really quiet, because the Lord wants to direct you in what path to take, on what to focus on. This is really important because many of you are rebuilding different things. The Lord wants you to focus on one main thing. He doesn't want you to be the jack of all trades and master of none. He wants you to have your focus on one thing. You're going to prioritize a certain thing, and then other things will be secondary. So as you sit at the feet of Jesus, as you commune with him, as you fast and as you pray, the Holy Spirit is going to tell you what your next steps are, and in the rebuilding, what you need to prioritize and what is secondary. All right, friends, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.